Very much, Chairman Klein. This amendment allows child care providers to serve an additional reimbursable meal or snack to children who are in care for more than 8 hours. Currently, the Child and Adult Care Food Program limits family child care homes and child care centers to only 2 reimbursable meals and 1 snack for children. For example, if a parent drops off his toddler at a child care center at 7 in the morning and picks her up at 2 o'clock, she would receive a healthy breakfast and lunch and a nutritious snack. But many hardworking parents rely on child care for longer periods of time. Some parents work 2 jobs, or they have to commute long distances to get to work. If children are in care until the evening, till 5 or 6 p.m., for example, they are hungry and they ought to receive an additional meal or late afternoon snack. By authorizing reimbursements for an additional meal, we can make sure children get access to more nutritious foods. Additionally, we can deliver support to child care providers who may not need to pass those costs on to hardworking families and will be more likely to participate in the CACFP program. Unfortunately, we've seen a roughly 40% decline in the number of family child care homes that participate in the program, and this trend jeopardizes access to affordable, high-quality care for working families and communities across the country, especially in rural towns. This amendment will help reverse this trend and encourage more child care providers to join the CACFP program, which in turn means more children will form healthy eating habits and get the nutrition they need for healthy development. Strengthening the ability of the CACFP program to serve low-income children is also an important step this committee can take to combat food insecurity. More than 15 million children in America experience food insecurity, which affects households with children at higher rates than those without. The CACFP program serves approximately 3.3 million young children each day. Reinvesting in this program will go a long way to advancing the well-being of children in communities across the country. I want to take a moment to point out that there are some important provisions in the substitute amendment that will reduce paperwork for child care providers and improve the serious deficiency process in the CACFP program. I thank Congresswoman Stefanik, who's been working with me to propose these changes in this bipartisan Early Childhood Nutrition Improvement Act, which we introduced in November. I would also like to thank Congressman Curbelo for his support of that bill. I also want to thank Congresswoman Stefanik for her earlier amendment on CACFP, which I would have supported had I been in the room. I'm pleased that many of these provisions are reflected in the legislation we're considering today. And I thank Chairman Klein and his staff for working with us to incorporate some common sense provisions to improve the program. But we can do a lot more to help working families access affordable, high-quality child care and make sure that these low-income children are set up to succeed. Authorizing a 3rd meal in the CACFP program for these kids in care all day is a reasonable proposal. It's good for families struggling to make ends meet. It's good for child care providers, many of whom operate small businesses. And importantly, it's good for the low-income children who deserve to grow up healthy. Again, I thank Congresswoman Stefanik for working with me on the Bipartisan Early Childhood Nutrition Improvement Act, and I encourage my colleagues to support this important amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
Gentlelady.